Cybercrime-as-a-Service, or CaaS, represents a significant shift in the cyber criminal underground. This business model involves skilled hackers developing and leasing out cyber weapons to paying customers, even those with minimal technical expertise of their own. CaaS has transformed the once niche domain of custom hacking into an organized, commoditized marketplace. On CaaS platforms, vendors can sell plug-and-play malware kits, phishing templates, DDoS attack tools, and more to a broad criminal audience. For the right price and a few clicks, almost anyone with malicious intent can now access potent cyber weapons. The implications are serious. By making malicious hacking much more accessible, CaaS has accelerated the scale, frequency, and sophistication of cyber attacks globally. And the threat actors leveraging these rented weapons are increasingly diverse, ranging from small-time criminals to nation-state operatives. In this video, we'll explore the shadowy underworld of the CaaS underground, the weapons for sale, the criminals wielding them, and the damage left in their wake. Join us as we examine the rise of an industry that is changing the face of cybercrime. This black market is a virtual armory of cyber weapons, stocked with an array of constantly evolving offerings. Ransomware-as-a-Service is one of the most in-demand products. Here, ransomware authors lease out their data encrypting malware to affiliates for a portion of the profits. RaaS has been a boon for ransomware gangs, enabling them to scale their operations to industrial levels. Phishing-as-a-Service is another staple of the underground markets. For a small fee, criminals can access complete phishing toolkits, including templates for spoofed websites, automated credential harvesting tools, and guides on tricking victims. The widespread availability of these turnkey phishing services has contributed to a surge in credential theft, now a factor in over 1/3 of all data breaches. For as little as $10, CaaS marketplaces also sell access to massive botnets, armies of compromised computers that can be commanded to force websites offline with junk traffic. Known as DDoS for hire or booter services, this powerful CaaS offering has been increasing in demand as cybercriminals weaponize botnets for extortion and disruption. Alarmingly, we're also seeing vendors expand into tools for hacking industrial control systems. These offerings are designed to exploit this sensitive equipment that runs factories, pipelines, and power grids, threatening to bring cyber attacks into the physical realm. The breadth of the cyber arms bazaar is deeply concerning. With technical skill no longer a barrier to entry, the floodgates have opened to a new generation of cyber criminals. As we'll see next, this development has unleashed a surge of novice hackers into the scene. The clientele shopping in the aisles of the CaaS megastore represent a rogues gallery of malicious actors. Organized criminal groups are some of the most prolific customers. For outfits like Rebel and Darkside, renting hacking tools is more cost-effective than developing them in-house. This outsourcing of capabilities has allowed ransomware rings to pool resources, rapidly scale up, and innovate their tactics at alarming speed. Increasingly, nation-states are also dipping into the CaaS ecosystem to augment their hacking arsenals. For countries like North Korea and Iran, procuring attack tools from the underground offers a force multiplier and a veil of plausible deniability. By outsourcing cyber ops to CaaS actors, governments can focus on high-value targets while obscuring their involvement. But the CaaS model has been a great leveler too, putting potent cyber weapons in the hands of criminals who would have previously lacked the skills to use them. Rookie hackers, disparagingly known as script kiddies, can now punch above their weight by renting tools light years beyond their ability to code. And we're seeing a wave of these amateur threat actors unleash a flood of crude but disruptive intrusions. Perhaps the most troubling, CaaS has become a go-to for disgruntled insiders bent on revenge against employers. Armed with rented hacking tools, rogue IT administrators can now digitally sabotage their own organizations on the way out the door. In one chilling case, a disgruntled water treatment worker used CaaS malware in an attempt to poison a Florida city's water supply. The takeaway is sobering. Thanks to CaaS, the barriers to entry for large-scale cybercrime have crumbled. With the right criminal contacts and a cryptocurrency wallet, even the least technically savvy criminal can now get into the hacking game. And that spells trouble for defenders everywhere. The real-world impact of the CaaS boom is far from an abstract. They're banging down our digital doors with increasing force. On the enterprise front, commoditized malware is powering an onslaught against businesses of all sizes. Across industries, the lifeblood of the modern economy, data, has never been more imperiled as cybercriminals ruthlessly exploit CaaS tools to steal it, lock it up, and hold it for ransom. In 2021, the devastating potential of this threat hit home in one of the most disruptive cyber attacks on record. In May, affiliates of the dark side RAAS group managed to infiltrate the IT systems of the Colonial Pipeline, the largest fuel conduit on the U.S. East Coast. Using rented malware, the intruders brought the pipeline's operations to a screeching halt, disrupting fuel deliveries across the southeastern United States. The incident triggered panic buying, price spikes, and gas shortages in a dozen states before the pipeline forked over a $4.4 million ransom to the hackers. But the scourge of rented cyberware reaches far beyond the Fortune 500. Mom-and-pop shops, schools, hospitals, and municipal governments are increasingly finding themselves in the crosshair as CaaS lowers the barrier to entry for digital crime. When a vulnerability in the widely used Log4j software library came to light in 2021, cyber criminals wasted no time exploiting it using ready-made CaaS tools. Within days, bad actors were using the flaw to hijack thousands of exposed devices into zombie botnets for crypto mining, spam, and DDoS attacks. In the 2 weeks after the bug's discovery, threat actors launched over 10 million intrusion attempts using rented Log4j exploit kits bought on the dark web. The healthcare sector has found itself squarely in the CaaS blast radius as well. As the black market value of medical data has soared, hospitals and clinics have become irresistible targets for cybercriminals looking to get in on the action. In the fall of 2020, a series of ransomware attacks wreaked havoc across the U.S. healthcare system, forcing multiple hospital chains to cancel surgeries, divert ambulances, and even shut down COVID-19 testing as they scrambled to contain the damage. Even more ominously, CaaS has emerged as a potent weapon for undermining the very foundations of democracy. During the 2016 U.S. presidential election, Kremlin-backed operators leveraged CaaS infrastructure to flood social media with disinformation and divisive rhetoric. In the years since, the problem has only worsened as a slew of state and non-state actors have capitalized on the ready availability of rented influence operators to pollute the digital public square with conspiracy theories, inflammatory content, and outright falsehoods ahead of elections worldwide. For the individuals on the receiving end of these attacks, the psychological toll can be shattering. Identity theft, drained bank accounts, leaked private photos. Millions of people have seen their lives upended by intimate violations enabled by commoditized hacking tools. For victims of CaaS-powered sextortion and revenge porn attacks in particular, the trauma and reputational damage inflicted is often irreparable. Daunting as it may seem, we don't need to resign ourselves to a future in which plug-and-play cybercrime is a fact of life. But grappling with the CaaS juggernaut will require a concerted effort to strike at the economic foundations that have allowed it to flourish. Here are 4 key pillars for a coordinated counterstrike. 1. Hardening the infrastructure CaaS exploits to deliver its toxic payloads. For too long, legions of insecure Internet of Things devices have been easy pickings for botnet herders and malware purveyors. It's time for a push to secure this vast attack surface by shipping connected gadgets with unique default passwords, regular patching, and automated threat detection baked in. We should make scaling up zombie device armies and malware campaigns significantly more difficult and costly for the criminals who have made it their stock in trade. 2. Following the money fueling the CaaS economy and making it radioactive. When it comes to monetizing cybercrime, cryptocurrencies have been both a blessing and a curse. The semi-anonymity and censorship resistance of Bitcoin and its cousins have proven a boon for threat actors looking to get paid without being traced. Clawing back that impunity will be crucial for dampening the financial incentives that make CaaS so attractive to criminals in the first place. A good start would be requiring crypto exchanges to collect and verify customer identities while improving information sharing and analytics to flag suspect transactions. Peeling back the veil of crypto secrecy may not stamp out CaaS altogether, but it could discourage more casual customers and unnerve some vendors. 3. Targeting the very marketplaces where CaaS offerings are peddled with extreme prejudice. Just as they went after darknet drug bazaars, law enforcement should double down on infiltrating and shuttering the elite CaaS exchanges. When Europol and the FBI unraveled the ecstatic marketplace in 2019, they vaporized the go-to one-stop shop for countless criminal gangs looking to rent hacking tools and sell stolen data. Replicating that disruption playbook for other major CaaS forums could go a long way towards sowing uncertainty and mistrust in the market. 4. Dragging the most brazen CaaS operators out of the shadows and into the limelight of most wanted notoriety. It's time to unleash the cyber equivalents of the old-fashioned wanted poster for the worst of the worst in the CaaS rogues gallery. The U.S. State Department and federal law enforcement agencies should work with their allies to put bounties on the heads of the leaders behind the most damaging CaaS groups, and then splash their faces across the internet, newspapers, and TV screens. Even if the legal firepower is largely symbolic, it can help strip away the anonymity these figures crave while sending an unmistakable deterrent message to up-and-comers. Play in the CaaS cesspool, risk becoming a pariah. None of these approaches in isolation will be a CaaS silver bullet, and we shouldn't expect a knockdown of the cyber bazaar to be swift or easy. But a sustained campaign of arrests, asset seizures, and infrastructure takedowns can begin to inject friction into the CaaS industrial machine. The goal isn't just to play whack-a-mole with the latest threats, but to fundamentally alter the risk-reward calculus for criminals by making the costs and perils of the CaaS model outweigh the easy profits. It's a tall order, but the alternative, a future where renting attack tools is as simple and commonplace as streaming a movie, is too dystopian to let stand. Cybercrime-as-a-Service represents a tectonic shift in criminal capability and intent. There are no easy fixes. Defanging a monster this entrenched and sophisticated will require a society-wide response that hardens networks, drains profits, and punctures the anonymity of the underground economy. But, however daunting the road ahead may seem, we can't shy away from the fight. The cybersecurity community in particular must take the lead in a coordinated counteroffensive. We'll need to work hand in glove with policymakers and law enforcement to illuminate the CaaS underworld, share real-time threat intelligence on emerging dangers, and develop new technical solutions for unmasking and disrupting criminal infrastructure at scale. Security practitioners should redouble efforts to evangelize best practices and offer concrete guidance to help organizations and individuals harden their digital doors against the onslaught of commoditized threats. None of this will be easy, and progress is unlikely to be quick or linear. But the alternative, a world where the most intimate and valuable parts of our digital lives are perpetually up for grabs to the highest bidder, is unthinkable. We've overcome daunting technological dangers before, and we found the will to confront them as one. In an era of industrial hacking, we'll need every ounce of that collective resolve to ensure the same code-breaking ingenuity that has enabled wondrous digital progress isn't perverted into cheap criminal weapons for the masses. So let's impose consequences on those who seek to industrialize digital harm. The profiteers of the cyber underground have shown they're organized and opportunistic in selling their wares. It's time we demonstrate the same unity and grit in defense of a safer, more honest internet. However long the road, the fight to put CaaS out of business is one we have no choice but to wage with all we've got. The future of the digital age demands nothing less.